Okay. Hi, I'm Nicole Grimmer from our class and talking about chapters 4 and 5 of Best Practice, the similarities of the writing class and the math class. Being a special ed teacher, I've taught both. Right this year, I'm particularly teaching more math classes. So I can relate with both of them. The similarities that I found in both of them is they both had an attention getter to get the students' attention and bring the class together and hopefully get them interested. They did both move about the classroom. They went around, they assessed the children in many ways, they assessed them in many ways. They used some type of organizational skill. Once they got started, they said, okay, well, all these thoughts that we're talking about, let's get them organized. They called them in the book, I think, a metacognitive prompt, which I think is great. They both had essential questions to keep the students' minds going and thinking. They were walking around. They could do a one-on-one, get on their level, not embarrass the students, and say, hey, let's go back and think about this, or, hey, let's do this. I think Jessica, the second grade teacher, was really good at this. She had a student say it out loud if they're very auditory. If they needed to just hear the poem or whatever it was they were writing and it didn't sound good, then they could always go back and say, oh, okay. So I really liked what Jessica did. She walked around. She had one-on-one, either getting them started or just I think one student just couldn't seem to get started, so she kind of helped them by asking them questions or say, hey, just write down what you know. I really like that. A lot of positive reinforcers, which I think is very important. So and I think it's very important to assess from the very beginning. I know, like I said, I teach special ed, and I've got to get them at the very beginning. If they're starting to do math problems and they've done half a page and they're wrong, not good. You got to catch them at the very beginning. That way you don't want to have to go back and relearn something they've learned the incorrect way. Susan was a sixth grade math teacher, and I loved her chocolate algebra. Who doesn't like candy or chocolate? So that was a great attention getter, and she used real world connections with it, and she used prior knowledge, and both teachers did that. They used prior knowledge. What do you know? Let's get this on paper. And the KWC that is connected with the KWL, I love that. It said, what do they know for sure? What are they trying to find out? And are there any specific conditions? So that was great. They did both had group work. Jessica had a turn and read to your partner with the reading. And in the math, they formed groups and had drew tables and things about what the candy would cost, or $10, I think it was, how much candy could they buy and all the different combinations. So like I said, they both walked around the room, not only watching, but listening to the kids interact with each other. And I think this is great because especially in sixth grade, they don't want to be singled out and say, oh, you're wrong, and be in front of all their peers. So that's a really good way to assess them without singling them out. Also, they both use essential questions to keep the children's thoughts going. Higher order thinking, loved it. And could these be used in real world? In any curriculum? Absolutely. Get them in groups, let them think. I do very similar things in my classroom. Walk around, assess, let them think, guide them as they do. But like I said, you've got to assess the entire time. You cannot wait till the very end to do this. And I think it was Jessica that may have had posters around her room. They can say, okay, hey, remember that? Look up in the room and find something from prior knowledge, or just to help guide them through their either writing or math. So I think that those teachers do a great job, and hopefully this will inspire me to do more into my classroom. Thanks.